Good evening to all of you present here. So this is Sarfaraz Ahmed, the core committee member of Team Explorica. Hope you all are excited for the event. I will be one of the hosts for the evening and I will be explaining the rules for the event. So just a minute. So the rules for the round one are as follows. The question will be visible for 2 or 3 or 5 minutes depending on the difficulty level of the question. Each question will be read out once only. The timer will be a green bar at the top of your screen that will slowly turn into red, which will signify that the time is passing. As soon as the question will be presented on your screen, a Google form link will be sent to you in a chat box. So, and most important thing that you have to fill up your unique serial number that we provided you in the group. You have to remember that unique serial number that you have to put up in the form also. So you can check out once we have provided you the serial number, and also you have to answer from your registered mail ID only through which you have registered for the event. And one more thing that if anyone is found that they are dropping the answers in the chat box, they will be directly disqualified from the event. So here you can see the demo slide that at the top of the bar is turning into red. This is signifying that the time is passing. This will show you that the time is passing. Also, the number of minutes for the question will be written here. For each question, the number of minutes will be written here, and the red, the turning into red will be signifying that the time is passing. So all the best for the preliminary round to all of you, to all of the participants. And if you have any doubt, then you can ask. Tamonash, continue.
Yes, am I visible and am I audible properly?
Yes, Tamonash.
Okay, so welcome all of you guys once again to the prelim rounds of Sherlockology. And Sarfraz Ahmed just stated you the rules of the event. And I would like to ask all of you if you have any kind of doubts or questions regarding this prelim round, you can go ahead and ask me right now.
Can you please repeat where the link will be shared?
The link will be shared in the Google chat box. This Gmail chat box, you will get the link. The Gmail chat box. Okay. Anyone else? So I guess there's no other question. So
Excuse me.
yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
Yes, I have a doubt like that. We have to provide the answer in any explanation form or just the answer in the Google form for the
There,
questions.
there will be questions where you will have to write the answers in suppose one line, or there will be questions where you can just answer in one or two words. Okay, it depends from question
Okay.
to question, but you
Okay.
don't have to write a paragraph for it. Okay.
Thank you.
Anyone else has any questions?
In-call messages are the chat boxes, right?
Yeah, in call messages are the chat box. Is the chat box in Google. Any other questions, guys? Okay, so as we are not having any questions, I would like to share a few important points with you guys that I feel I should mention once again after the rules are being mentioned. The first point is that 38% of the participants from each group will be selected. Okay. So the strength of your group is around 65. 38% of the group means around 25 people will be selected from your group. The first 25, obviously. The second point I would like to emphasize on is that your unique serial ID, that is A1, A2, A3, so on, is a very important thing for you guys. It will act as your identity. Okay. The third thing is that I'll just share about the Google form. Okay. The things that will be there in the Google form. There will be 3 questions. First one will be for the unique serial number. The second one will be for your first name. Okay. You don't have to write your full name. You can just write your first name. And the third one will be for the answer part, where you will find the question that is being presented on the screen and you'll have to write the answers in the given space. So there goes the Google form. I hope it's clear to you guys. And once again, I would like to mention that please do not write anything on in the chat box. Okay. If you face any problem, you can come to us, but do not write the answers in the chat box. Okay. And some other points that I would like to mention is, do not try to answer twice. Okay. Only your first answer will be counted, and we will be keeping track of how many times you are answering. And if you are found that, if we find that you are answering more than once, we'll we will take steps against you, and it may lead to disqualification. So answer only once, take your time, think and answer. And any kind of misbehavior during the whole event is proceeding will not be tolerated, and he will be disqualified. So these are the main important points I wanted to share with you guys. And a few hints that I would like to give you from my side is that some questions will be very easy, some questions will be a bit tough, and some will be a bit tricky. So read the questions very carefully and keep a note of the time, because we are taking the time into consideration. Like, the fastest reply is going to fetch more points. That's way. That's why you have to keep a note of the time, but read the questions carefully, because there are tricky questions which may seem very easy, and you write the answer and then think that, oh, this was not the answer for this. So this is a hint from my side. And another hint that I would like to give you is that you can try searching the questions in the Google, but you will end up with nothing, because the whole team of Sherlockology have made these questions ourselves. So I'm just saying this to save your time. You may you may see the presentation and type the question in the Google and keep searching for it and find nothing, and the time goes up and the next question pops up, and it won't help you in any way. So you can thank me later for this, but for now I'm done with my important point session. So Tamogno, if you are there, please present your screen. We would like to proceed with our event. Tamogno, are you there?
Sarfaraz, please give me access to share my screen.
Yes, just a minute. Yeah, it's already given. It's already given.
Okay, so Tamogno, wait for a while. I'm going to, as Tamogno present each question, I'm going to read it out once. Okay, and then you guys will have to solve the questions, and you will find the Google form for each question in the chat box of Google Meet. Okay, so Tamogno, we can proceed now. The first question is of 3 minutes, and it says, without me you cannot write, add a letter before me, brings a situation that could make you die. So guys, the time is up for the first question. I hope all of you have submitted your answers. So now we would like to move on to our next question. Samogno, please present the next question. The time for this question is 2 minutes, and I'll read the question only once. There are 3 brothers in a house. Brother 1 is cleaning the house. Brother 2 is playing Chinese checkers. So what is brother 3 doing? Okay, so the time for this question is also up. This was a pretty easy question, I think. All of you must have answered. So now moving on to our next question. Samagna, please present the next question. This question is of 3 minutes, and the question goes like, to solve the little fix, liquids, solids, gases mix, head to the place of some reaction to further this clue transaction. Guess the place. So the time is up for question 3. Hope you all have submitted your answers. Now we would like to move on to our question
Hello.
4. Okay, wait,
Hello.
Samagna, wait. Yeah. Yeah, Shaumadip,
Is
go ahead.
there any negative marking?
No, there is no negative marking. There is no negative
Okay,
mark.
okay.
Just your correct answer will fetch you mark, and the wrong answer will fetch you 0. Okay. So let's proceed with our event. Samagna, please present our question 4. This question is of 3 minutes, and the question goes like this. A detective left a note where he wrote a clue to decode a gas name. He wrote, long ago in Italy, a man was born, a car born, and die outside. Decoded. Okay, guys, so the time for this question is also up. We would like to move on to our next question. This question is of 2 minutes. The question is, what begins with T, ends with T, and has T in it? Guys, the time is up for this question. This was a bit tricky, I guess, and very easy too. So let's move on to our next question, please. This is a 5-minute question, and I'll read the question out. An old man was dead at night while he was sleeping. You go through his room and found nothing except his own furniture. You checked his body once and found nothing except a mosquito bite like reddish inflammation on the side of his neck. Later, post-mortem report says that cause of death was stroke, and there was no evidence of getting choked or being strangled or poisoned to death. There are no cut marks on the body. Police told you that they found an empty packet of 50 ml syringe. He was a diabetes patient, so he used to take insulin. What do you think? Is it a murder or a normal death? Tell your reason in one line. Guys, you have to state your reason in one line. I repeat. time is up for this question too. We would like to move on to question number 7. Samagno, please go ahead. So this is also a 5 minutes question, and I'll read it out. You got a note which helps you in the further investigation. 7 plus 6 equals to 78. 9 plus 4 equals to 52. 6 plus 9 equals to 135. 13 plus 6 equals to 1. Decode this and give the 10-digit phone number for further help. I repeat, 10-digit phone number. So finally the time is up for this question. It's a long 5 minutes. So let's move on to question number 8. So this is a 3 minutes question, and I'll read the question now. A man had a duck, a spider, a bee, and a cat. Before leaving, the man left $9 for the duck, $36 for the spider, $18 for the cat. Based on this information, how much money would be given to the bee? Okay, so we are finished with this question too. Hope you all have submitted your answers. Now moving on to our next question. Someone will present the next question. It's a 2-minute question, and it is: if 1 plus 1 equals to 4, 7 plus 7 equals to 196, then 9 plus 9 equals to 1. 2 minutes was sufficient for this, I think. So now we will be presenting our last question. So Kamagna, go ahead. This is the last question and you have 5 minutes to solve this. I'll read out the question once. A man wrote some phrases in a notepad. While searching for the 4-letter code of his locker, you found that he wrote there, get out from my house. Mute yourself, yeah. So he wrote there, get out from my house, face to the north, go to 22.5726 degree, turn left, go to 88.3639 degree, meet with Graham Bell and give a greeting to him. Hello. So guys, we are done with our prelim round. It's set A, and I hope all of you guys enjoyed the question. So this was the last question, and I hope all of you have submitted all the questions. The marking, while marking, we will consider the correct answers and the time at which the answers are being submitted, and the cumulative score will be used to rank all of you guys, and we will be taking the first 25 of you, and the list will be out by tomorrow morning. So we are done with our prelim round with all of you guys. Thank you for staying with us. Thank you for attending this session and going through this prelim round. And I hope to see the top 25 of you in the CSI round. That is the next round where you will get to be Sherlock. So now you guys may leave the meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Bhaiya.
When will we get the answers?
Yeah, you will be getting the answer shortly in the WhatsApp group. Okay, we will prepare
Okay.
an answer sheet and we will send it there.
Okay.
Thank you everyone for attending the meeting. You can watch the live session for the set 3 answers.
Yeah, we have live sessions recorded. Go and watch it.
I am sharing the live link. So, good evening to all of you present here. This is Sarfaraz Ahmed, the core committee member of Team Explorica, and I will be one of the hosts for the evening. And so, hope you all are excited for the event. I will be explaining the rules for the event. Just a minute. Yeah, the screen is visible.
Yes, it's visible.
Okay. So the rules for the preliminary round are as follows. Firstly, the question will be visible for 2 or 3 or 5 minutes. There will be short questions and long questions both. So the questions will be visible for 2 or 3 or 5 minutes depending on the difficulty level and the length of the question. And each question will be read out once only. The timer will be shown at the top of the screen. That is a green bar at the top of your screen that will slowly turn into red as the time passes. That will signify that the time is passing. A Google form link will be sent to you in the chat box as soon as you see the question on the screen. And most important thing that you have to fill up the form. You have 3 blanks. One is of your unique serial number that we have shared you yesterday in the group. You have to remember your unique serial number, and you have to answer from your registered mail ID only, from which you have registered for the event. You have to sign in the Google form with that email ID only. So one more thing, if anyone is found that they are dropping the answers directly in the Google chat box meeting, they will be directly disqualified from the event. So here is a demo slide. You can see the timer at the top of the screen. You can see that it is slowly turning into red. That will signify that the time is passing and the minutes allotted for the particular question will be written here. If it's a 2-minute question, it will be written here that 2 minutes. And the bar turning into red is signifying that the time is passing, and here you will be able to see the question. So all the best to all of you, all of the participants. If you have any doubt regarding the rules, you can ask. If you have any doubt, you can ask. Okay, no doubts. Okay, Tamunash, continue.
Yeah, welcome all of you to the prelim round of Sherlockology, and I am also your host for this session. And as I can see that you guys are not having any doubts, I would like to share a few important points that I would like to mention once again, that I would like to focus once again. That is, 88% of the participants from your group will be selected for the next round. Okay. The 38% of the participants, approximately 38%, will be selected. The top 38%, obviously. The next point that I would like to mention is your unique serial ID is very important for you guys. Okay, it will act as your identity. Is we are going to know that it's you by your unique serial ID. And I would like to share what are the things that are there in the Google form so that it's easier for you guys when you go to fill it. There will be 3 questions. The first question will consist of the serial number. You will have to input your serial number, the unique serial number that is given to you. The second question will consist of your name. You can just write your first name. You don't have to write your full name. Okay. As time is an issue in this competition, so you can just write your first name. There won't be any problem. The unique serial ID is the main thing. The third part will be the answer of the question that will be presented to you on the screen. That question will be there, and you have to write the answer of that in the given space. I would like to mention that please do not write anything or do not write any answers in the chat box. Obviously, if you have any issues or doubts, you can go ahead and ask us, but don't write the answers in the chat box, please. And then I would like to mention that do not try to answer twice, because we are keeping a check of it, and anyone found doing so will be disqualified. Okay. And any kind of misbehavior will not be tolerated while the whole session is going. If there is any kind of misbehavior from anyone, that won't be tolerated, and he will be removed from the meeting and disqualified obviously. So these were the important points that I would love to focus on. I wanted to focus on. And now I would like to share a few hints with you guys, okay, from my side to help you guys out. So some questions will be very easy, okay, very easy. Some will be a bit tough and some will be very tricky. So read the questions very carefully and keep a note of the time, as you guys have, you guys should know that time is a factor in this event. You have to answer as fast as you can, but obviously be careful, read the questions carefully and then answer. And one more thing that I would like to add is that you can go ahead and try to search these questions that are presented to you in Google. Okay, it's up to you guys, but a heads up from my side is that you won't be finding those answers in the Google, because the whole team of Sherlockology has prepared the questions by ourselves. So I'm just saving your time by saying this. You will go ahead and look for the question in the Google, and the time will go up, and you won't find the answers, and the next question will pop up. So I'm just saving you that hassle, and you can thank me later for that. So if anyone has any kind of doubt or questions regarding this, they can please go ahead and ask me now, or else we will start with the questions. So no one has any kind of questions? Great, great. So Tamagno, please go ahead and share your screen. The link for the Google Forms, will be there in the chat box of this Google Meet. Okay, so keep a note of the chat box of this Google Meet. You will find the Google Forms over there. So I guess we can start with our prelim round. So Tamagno, go. Links will come here. Yes, Aryan, links will be sent there in the chat box. Links will be sent in the chat box, and please don't write anything. You can just turn on your mic and talk to me, because the links will be sent there. So please don't spam the chat box while the links are being sent. Okay, it's a request from my side. So let's continue. So the first question is of 3 minutes, and the question goes like this: 25 equals to question mark, 24 equals to 600, 23 equals to 552, sorry, and 22 equals to question mark. So the time is up for this question, and I hope all of you guys have answered the question and submitted the Google form. Now we would like to move on to our next question, please. This question is of 3 minutes, and I'll read the question out once. I'm always hungry. You can also die if you hug me. But if you cut first letter from my name and add a land to its last, then my name will be a country. What is my name? So the time for this question is up, and I hope all of you have submitted your answers by now. So let's move on to our next question, please. This is a question of 2 minutes, and the question is, whenever we speak, it breaks down. What is this? the time for this question is also up. This was a pretty easy question, I guess. All of you must have answered. So now let's move on to our next question, please. It's a 3-minute question. The question is, Mr. Tedder was killed by an unknown person. Before dying, he left a note for the police. In this note, he wrote a strange code for decoding the killer's name. Solve it from the code. You can see the code below. Time is up for this question too. Hope you guys have submitted your forms. And now we would like to move on to our next question. This is the 5-minute question. This is a long one. What will be the value of A, B, C? B and C will be single numbers. So you have your hint, you have the question, you can see the picture. Now find the answer. 5 minutes time is out for this question. This was a bit tough, I guess. So now let's move on to our next question. Some of you. This is a 2-minute question, a short one. Silence isn't empty. It's always full of answers. Guess the place. This was a pretty easy one. Very easy. So let's move on to our next question. This is a 3-minute question. The question is, two friends saw 4 monks while going towards Rishikesh Ghat. Every monk saw 5 police officers are going towards Rishikesh Ghat. How many people are going towards Rishikesh Ghat? And the time for the 7th question is also up. So let's move on to the next question. Question number 8. This is a 2-minute question. So I'll read it out. Mr. Shomitra was murdered on 30th March 2019. It was complete lockdown time in the region, so the post-mortem process got delayed. Police started questioning the house members. His wife said she was busy in the garden with the plants. His daughter said she was giving an online exam at her system. And his son stated he was at the gym. Who was the killer?
ভাই কোশ্চেনটাই তো ভুল আছে, কোশ্চেনটাই ভুল।
So the time for this question is up. And it's a request from my side that any kind of opinion of yours can be shared with us at the end of the session and not in between the questions. Okay? I hope I made myself clear. Any kind of opinions you can share with us at the end, not while the question is going on. So, Samogno, we would like to move on to our next question. It's also a 2-minute question, and I'll read it out. In a room, a cow eating grass, a cat eating fish, a dog playing with a bone. Suddenly, hearing a sound, you walk into the room for observation. Which animal in the room is the smartest? The time for the 9th question is up, and I would like to share the previous question. Question number 8 was absolutely correct question. There was nothing wrong with it. Okay. So we will move on to our last question for set B, and it's a 5 minutes question. A man was found dead in his house. There is one piece of paper in his hand. There are 6 items written in the list: apple, water, rice, lock, eggs, tablets. The investigating officer got the name and arrested the killer. Write the name. So the last question is also complete. The time is up. And I hope all of you have submitted the answers. So here we end the prelim round for set B of Sherlockology. And thank you all of you for joining with us. Thank you for being a part of it and participating in the event. We will be releasing the qualifiers list by tomorrow morning. Okay, the first 38% will be selected, and the marking will be based on the correct answers and the time of response. The faster the response is recorded, the more points it will fetch you. So this is the grading system, and we will also share with you the answer sheet of the 10 questions in your WhatsApp group. So that is it, guys. Thank you for participating. Thank you for staying with us. You can take a leave now.
Thank you each and everyone for participating. I will be sharing the live link. The event is live stream on YouTube and Facebook. I will be sharing the live stream link on your group. You can watch the next set of questions.
You can watch the next test, and you can also see your round 2 after the live session is being recorded. You will be able to go back to the session that we had. Okay, so that's it. Anurag, it's not started yet. We will be waiting for a few more minutes.
Okay,
Let's
okay, all right,
participants
all right, all right.
join. Yeah.
Can you mute yourself?
Okay, so let's start. Good evening to all of you present here. This is Sarfaraz Ahmed from the core committee member of Team Explorica. I will be hosting the session and I will be explaining you the rules for the event. So hope you all are ready for the event and you will be enjoying the event. So let me present the rules. The screen is visible?
Yes, yes, it is visible.
Okay. So the rules for the round one, that is the preliminary round, are as follows. The questions will be visible for 2 or 3 or 5 minutes, depending on the difficulty level of the question, the length of the question. According to that, the time will also be mentioned at the top, that how much time you will be getting for this question. Each question will be read out once only. The timer will be at the top. It will be a green bar at the top of your screen that will slowly turn into red as the time passes by. That will actually signify that the time is passing, and you will also be getting the warning in the chat box after when the 1 or 2 minutes will be left. A Google form link will be given in your chat box. as soon as you see the question on your screen. As soon as you will be seeing the question on your screen, a Google form will be given in the chat box. In that form, you have to I think you all remember your unique serial number that we gave you in the group yesterday. You have to put that, your first name and the answer. These three things you have to give in the Google form. And the most important thing that you have to answer the questions. You have to open the Google form only with your registered mail ID, the mail ID from which you have registered for the event. That email ID will only be considered for evaluation. And one more thing, if anybody is found that he or she is directly dropping the answers in the chat box, he or she will be directly be disqualified from the event. So here you can see the demo slide. You can see the green bar at the top. As soon as the question will start, it will slowly start turning into red, as you can see here. And the number of minutes allotted for that particular question will be written here. Like if it's a 2-minute question, it will be written here 2 minutes or 5 minutes or 3 minutes. And here you will be you will be able to see the question. And okay, so all the best for the preliminary round to all of you. So if you have any doubt regarding the rules, you can ask. Any doubt regarding the rules for the preliminary round? Okay, so Tamunash, continue.
Okay, so welcome all of you guys to the preliminary round of Sherlockology. And the rules are already been said, but I would like to mention a few important points once again because they are really important. The first point that I would like to mention is that 38% of the strength of your group will be selected. The top 38% of the participants from set C will be selected for the next round. The next point is your unique serial ID is very important for you guys as it will act as identification for you. Once you answer the question, we are going to identify you by your unique serial ID. That's why it's very important, and keep that ready with yourself. I will just then I would like to mention the Google form. Okay, the format of the Google form so that it's easier for you guys when you are going to fill it up. There will be just 3 parts in the Google form. The first part will be for filling up your serial numbers. Okay, the unique serial numbers, you have to fill it up. The second part in the Google form will be for your first name. You don't have to fill it with your full name. You can just fill it up with your first name. That will be enough. And the last part of the Google form will be the answer of the question. Okay, the question that will be presented will be there in the Google form, and you will have to write the answer in the given space. So this is the whole Google form. And then I would like to repeat rather, please do not write the answers in the chat box, or do not write anything in the chat box, as we will be providing the link for the Google form in the chat box. So don't spam the chat box. Okay, it's a request from our side, and if someone has something to say, they can just unmute themselves and directly ask us or share with us. Okay, so moving on, then I would like to mention, do not try to answer twice because we are keeping a track of it. Your first answer will be taken into consideration, and repeated trials will not be seen in a good way, and you may get disqualified for that. And any kind of misbehavior during the session, this whole session, will not be tolerated, and he or she will immediately be removed from the meeting. So these were the important points that I wanted to focus on to help you guys. And a separate portion for you guys, that's a hint from my side that I would like to give is, some questions will be very easy. Okay, some will be a bit tough. and some will be very tricky. So read the questions very properly before answering, and also keep a track of the time, because time is playing a huge role in this. The response time is also being taken into consideration for your marking process. So keep a note of the time, but read the questions very carefully. And the last thing that I would like to say is that you can search the questions in the Google. As soon as you see the presentation, you can obviously search the question in the Google, but it won't help you in any way, because the whole team of Sherlockology made each and every question by ourselves. Okay, so by saying this, I'm just saving your time and hassle. You'll see the presentation and try to look up the question in the Google, and then find nothing over there, and the time will run out, and the next question will eventually pop up. So you can thank me later for this, but that's everything that I had to say. If someone has any kind of a doubt or question, they can go ahead and ask me. Any kind of questions or queries, you can unmute yourself. Okay, so I can't see, no one is having any doubt. Okay, that's great. So in between while questions are being presented, please do not unmute yourself or say anything. Okay, or do not write anything in the chat box. We are repeatedly asking you. If you have any doubts, go ahead and ask us now. Friends are joining again.
Okay, we'll wait for 2 minutes.
So in the Google form also, we are going to get the questions one by one.
Yes.
You are going to get the questions one by one. The questions will be presented one by one. Yes, Anurag, go ahead.
Yes, Manoj, if you're having any doubts regarding any of the questions after you're presenting them, can I just ask you, or like, can I just unmute myself and ask you?
No, it will disturb the others, so we cannot help you with that. I'm really sorry.
All right.
Right now, I'm using my smartphone for the meeting.
Yeah.
How are we able to use the same Google form and the meeting at the same time?
See, you will get the Google form in the chat box of the meeting. Okay. So once you get that, you can click on that Google form link and go to the form, and you will find the question over there too. Just keep a track of the time. You have to keep a track of the time over there. You will find the question in the Google form, so that won't be a problem for you. You can go to the Google form directly. We have to write the answers in the Google forms within the given time, or we can write them. Yeah. Okay, so let's wait for a couple of minutes, as someone requested their friends are having.
Those who are joining, please tell your friends to join only with the registered mail ID, or with the registered mail ID they registered for the event.
And yes, you have to submit the Google forms with your registered email ID only.
I think Anurag Chakraborty is asking something within the given time or not. Yes, you have to submit the. You can.
Yes, Sarfraz Ahmed has answered the question, so I guess he's clear now. It's clear now.
Can you also give us the how many questions would be there? As we have seen that the time was 9:45 p.m. So on that basis.
No, we have given the time. We have kept some extra time because it's an online platform, right? We can have network issues and problems like that. That's why we have kept some extra time in our hand. There will be 10 questions, and the time will vary from question to question. Okay.
Okay.
Some questions are of 2 minutes, some questions are of 3 minutes. So according to that. There will be 10 questions. The Google form, we have to write the name. You can unmute yourself and speak up if you want to. Right now, Google form.
Shashwat, in the Google form, you have to write your first name only in the name block and your unique serial number that we provided you yesterday in the WhatsApp group and the answer. These three things you have to write. Firstly, the unique serial ID that we gave yesterday. Secondly, your first name. And lastly, you have to write the answer that of that particular question.
Yeah, when you get the Google form, you will clearly see that different parts of the Google form. You will see there is written, enter your serial number, unique serial number. You have to write your unique serial number for your group is, I think, C. So it will be C1, C2, C3 and so on. You have to fill it up with that number. Next, you will have to fill it up with your first name.
So Amanash, can we please start now? My battery is running down. It's 14%.
Okay, so start.
Yeah, sure. It's 8:30, na? It's 8:30. Yeah, we'll start. Okay, Tamogna, can you present your screen? We would like to start. And it's a request that please no one will unmute themselves and talk while we are presenting the questions to you. Okay. We had a long doubt clearing session and there was doubts that are solved. So no more doubts during the questions during the time we are presenting the questions.
Start. Tamana, start.
Yes. So Tamogno, go ahead, present the first question. So the first question is of 2 minutes, and the question is the only game where even vegetarians enjoy non-veg. So the time for first question is up, and this was a pretty easy one, I guess. So let's move on to our next question, Tamogno. This is a 3-minute question, and I'll read it out only once. A man was murdered, and there are 2 suspects. Both suspects are friends of each other. First suspect told that his friend killed that man with his antique AK-47, which was used in World War I. The second suspect told that he is innocent and he didn't kill anyone. Who is the liar and why? Tell your answer in one line. So the time for this question is up. I hope all of you have answered the question and submitted the Google Forms. Now we would like to move on to our next question, please. The next question is also of 3 minutes. I will read it out once. In a police investigation report, it is stated that a criminal bought a pair of shoes and a pair of shirts from a shop, which cost of $450. The shoes cost $200 more than the pair of shirts. How much does each item cost? The time is up for this question too. Hope all of you have submitted the Google Forms. So now we would like to move on to our next question, please. This question is also of 3 minutes, and the question is, hey, how are you? Come to my place. We have a case to solve. You can see the codes over there. I won't read it out. Solve it and name it full before coming. The time is up for question number 4. Now we would like to move on to question number 5. So it's a 2-minute question, and it goes like, I am a man-made, I am long, I am strong, and I could be wrong. I am everywhere on land, but I can't move. Tell my name, that I will approve. So the time is up for this question. This was a pretty tricky one, I guess. Now let's move on to our next question. This is a big one, a 5-minute question, and it's a tough one too. What will be the value of A, B, C, and D? You can see the picture clearly, I guess. You have to answer the values of A, B, C, and D. Time is up for this question. It was a long 5 minutes. Let's move on to our next question. It's a 3 minutes question. I'll read it out. If 5 plus 2 is 128, 9 plus 7 is 777, then 6 plus 5 equals to what? The time for this question is also up, and we will be moving on to our 8th question. So Samagna, please present the 8th question. It's of 3 minutes, and the question is: Charlie was a historian. He wrote 2 books on US nuclear attack on Japan in World War II, published in 2015, and Independence of America, published in 2018. He did some deep research on those fields also. He has a locker with 3-digit unlock system. What will be the 3-digit unlock code?
Achha, I have a doubt regarding this question. May I ask, please?
No, please. You can not. We are finished with the 8th question. And I'm sorry, Anurag, I cannot help you in between the questions by clearing your
No, no,
doubt.
it's all right. It's all right.
You have to write what you understand from the question. And so let's move on to our 9th question. So the 9th question is of 5 minutes, and I'll read it out once. Using this mentioned 6 letters UELIMN, create a 10-letter word. Please note everyone, there is a typing mistake that create a 10-letter word, not a 10-word letter. It will be a 10-letter word. Yeah, so the time for the ninth question is also up, and I can see someone has written something in the chat box. No, I'm sorry, you cannot submit it once again. So let's move on to the 10th question. It's also a 5-minute question. A criminal got a safe. You have to decode the pin by a clue. Here it is. My 10 digit is 2 more than my 1st digit. My 100th digit is 1 more than my 10th digit. My 1000th digit is 8 less than my 100th digit. What is the pin? So the 10th question is also finished, and with this, all the questions of this round is done. And so I'll just go through the marking process that we are going to use to judge you guys. It will be based on the correct answers. Wrong answers will fetch you zero marks or 0 points, and the correct answers will fetch you points according to which you have responded, the time according to which you have responded, and the cumulative score of all of you guys is going to be taken into consideration for ranking you, and the top 38% of you all will be selected for the next round. That is the CSI round, which is based on a storyline. So I hope I'll see all of you. I'll see the top among you guys in the next round. And we will also be publishing the answers of all the 10 questions in the WhatsApp group shortly, within tomorrow. And the qualifiers list will also be published by tomorrow morning. So you guys may leave now, and thank you for joining us in the session. Thank you for participating. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Daunas. Chalo, tata, good night.
Good night, Anurag. I mistakenly wrote my name wrong.
No issue, Subhashish.
Ashish, okay. Yeah,
Okay, thank you, Sarfraz.
We will see that.